Welcome to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you'll hear about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Now, let's join your hosts, Spivvy Williams and Terrible T Guy.
All right, guys, welcome to the next edition of Event Radio. Boy, day number 2, T-Bone.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back. I don't know, are we awake as early as it did or what?
I don't know, Spivvy, but I believe there's twice the cars here it was yesterday.
Oh, I think there is for sure. The weather's cleared out a little bit. The weather's a little nicer, and the people have sort of found their way here.
If people come more tomorrow like they did today as versus yesterday, they're going to be parking in Bowling Green.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those days where the Gestapo is going to have to issue or help you in and out of this place because it gets a little busy. It gets a little busy at Hot Rod Reunion time. Fun last night at the Plaza.
Burnouts galore.
Yeah, you said that the diesel truck guys did good or something.
The diesel truck guys was smoking. I mean,
I missed that part.
There was 3 cats come in those things, and I mean they lit them up. And
well, of course, they
crazy.
smoke stuff out anyway. You mean they were actually turning the tires?
The tires were spinning big time.
Oh, okay.
And of course, they had the flamethrower there that darn near caught the tree on fire.
Yeah, I saw him. He actually caused the fire department to come.
Yeah, they had a fire department there.
I mean, this guy, guys, we know it's radio. We can't do it as for justice, but he had probably 6-inch diameter exhaust with like 4 spark plugs in each exhaust and a gasoline injector in there, and he was blowing flames out of these 2 pipes. 6 feet, 7 feet in the air, or something
6,
like
7
that.
foot, yeah, each side.
It was quite a show. It was enough that actually the fire department showed up. You know, they showed up at the Plaza, and of course there was no need for fire because there was nothing
plus
on fire.
maybe there's 100,000 cars there. Not that many, of course.
Yeah.
But the place was full, and the fire truck didn't have nowhere to get to.
Yeah. Well, tonight there is also 2 shows there. They're having one, of course, our passion, the
JDRF.
Juvenile Diabetes JDRF show at Brewster's will be starting about 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and then another one also at the Plaza like they did last night. So we're interested in having a fun doing this show today. We're going to introduce you to a lot of cool people. I don't know that we'll do any better than we did yesterday. We're going to try.
We had some heavy hitters.
Yeah, we had some heavy hitters, but we'll have some more heavy hitters because this place is absolutely full of them, and hopefully they'll all want to at least give us a few minutes to talk to us, and we'll bring them to you so that you'll meet them just like we do. We're going to get out of here and chase down our first victim, if you will.
The victim of the day.
The victim of the day, and we're going to have a little word from our favorite people, one of our sponsors, and we will join you real quick. All right, guys, we are back from Hot Rod Reunion, and every once in a while you run into a legend, a real legend, and my buddy here I've known for a lot of years, and he has been one of the, inductees into the Hall of Fame here. He's been into all kinds of stuff, and probably the guy that's had more stories told about him than anybody on the planet. My good friend, Mr. Dale Funk. Dale, how are you?
I'm good. I don't believe those stories, though, about being a legend.
Well, you ought to, because whether you like it or not, there are probably more stories told about you than anybody I know.
I just hope that some of them aren't true. Most of them are, though. That's the bad part.
Statute of limitations
that's what's funny.
Run out.
That's what's funny is most of them are true.
Yeah.
But everybody in the world has seen your stuff, what you've done, that kind of deal. And it's the old deal. What is it? Everybody hates a winner, but everybody wants to be one. Is that it? And you're it, because you're pretty stout when people make up their own stories about you.
Spivvy needs to quit talking and listen. Spivvy had a Renault 4-door sedan roundy round car, and after quite a bit of drinking at the Beach Bend Park, he asked me did I want to drive it. Yeah, sure, man. I can drive anything. Well, the second lap around, I spun that thing out, and there was one telephone pole, and I hit it dead center. That was the end of my roundy round race.
Well, there's a million fans out here that you are glad you went straight and decided not to have a NASCAR career. You did a whole lot better than a dragster. Now tell me, I've heard a story that I don't remember if it was a twin-engine car or which one it was, that evidently the brakes didn't work or the chute didn't work or something, and you ran off the end, and they got to you, and you had a beer between your legs. Is that true?
No, that wasn't true.
All
that
right.
was at Englishtown, New Jersey at the Summer Nationals, and it was the final round, and we were running Candies and Hughes. And I just put a beer between my legs, and luckily we beat them. And when Robert got down on the top end, I didn't turn off the turnoff. I just stopped out in the middle of the track. And when Robert got there, I was drinking that beer. And he said, "Where did you get that?" And I brought it with me, Robert. I thought we might win. I'm celebrating.
You guys.
And that's a true story.
Oh, I know. And if there was such a thing as a fun police back then, you guys would have been in jail every weekend.
I know. We had a good time.
You had a lot of fun, and you were actually the threat of the error. I mean, you guys were the guys to beat everywhere.
Well, it ran good. We did the Top Fuel thing for 7 years, and we won 5 IHRA national races and 2 NHRA national races, and then we won the Popular Hot Rod race, and we're national record holder twice. So that's about as good as you can get from Valley Station, Kentucky.
I think you did all right. I remember seeing you in it, and I think it was, I don't remember, it was a gas dragster of some type, and I think my memory, now you tell me if I'm wrong, but we were at Hardensburg Raceway, and it had like a little T-bucket bed type car on
it.
An
A-comp car.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they were wanting you to get a picture of you, and you stood it straight on its tail once, and that wasn't good enough, so you shut it down and did it again, where they could take a picture. My buddy Dale has always been the accommodating racer,
That car actually won A-comp at the U.S. Nationals in 1966.
Did you really?
That was my first major victory.
Well,
probably my last.
No, there's been a whole bunch of them. Now there is another story, and of course, we probably don't have enough radio time to go through all the Dale Funk stories, and I envy you, my friend, because you lived them all, But people talk about them, and they say, well, he did this, he did this. I said, well, here's my chance to clear this up. There is a rumor about Miss Shirley Muldowney doing a fire burnout.
Yeah, at the Popular Hot Rod race.
Yeah, you want to tell me what happened there?
Well, the fire burnouts were illegal.
Okay.
They had banned them. NHRA had totally banned the fire burnouts.
Uh-huh.
And we're down there in the pits, and Shirley comes up there and does this fire burnout. And old Bob Daniels, my friend, whatever you want to call him,
y'all were buddies.
I said, Bob, it's a shame she's not going to be able to race tomorrow, And he said, what do you mean? I said, fire burnout. That's illegal. You're banned from the race. And, that was the rule.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I gave her permission to do that fire burnout. And I said, well, it doesn't say anything in the rule book about getting permission to do a fire burnout. Well, I gave her permission. So I told Robert, I'd get a gallon of gasoline, Robert. So we go up there, and I think Robert dumped the whole gallon out. But it was just a hellacious fire burnout. They got the brooms on fire trying to sweep it off the track. It was a good one. And we went ahead and made the run, and at the top end, here come Daniels just screaming. He was just screaming, hollering. And I said, well, screw you, Daniels. One person can do it, we can all do it. And, well, you won't be racing tomorrow. And I said, what? He said, you won't be racing tomorrow. And I said, well, whatever. So I go around to all my buddies, and even Perdome. And so I said, boy, it's not going to be much of a race tomorrow, is it, Daniels? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, ain't nobody going to race if I don't race. So he went around and talked to everybody, and That was the deal.
He figured it was time to reconsider.
If Funk don't run, we don't run.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, it was 99% that way.
Well, that's the way it should have
And,
been. Because, I mean, you guys, hey, I'm telling you what, you guys, you put on a show, period, every time that I've ever seen you. And I've watched you a bunch because I'm old, you know.
Well, that was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I think that the people that now are actually missing something by not being around back then because it was just cool. That's all you can say.
Well, it was more fun. Now it's more serious. But I'll do is, in ending this deal, and I'm going to end it.
I understand.
If you ever get another Renault and you need a driver, you call me.
Well, hey, buddy, I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and have Dale Funk put over the doors.
Okay.
Because that way, hey, we'll make sure it's a 4-door so we can put it on there 4 times so when you knock them off, you know, there'll still be one on there.
And hay bales around the telephone.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Guys, you heard the man, my good friend, Mr. Dale Funk. We really appreciate you being on Event Radio and taking the time to do that.
I thank you for having me.
Well, it is always our privilege and our honor to have you. Guys, we're going to stab and steer. We're going to give you a little lesson, or a little word, rather, from our sponsors, and we will be right back. All right, guys, we are back from day 2 of the Hot Rod Reunion. I found my old buddy here, the fella that actually all of you guys that are listening to this show and all you guys that are out walking through the grounds, you may not know this gentleman, but everything works here because of him. Mr. Rex Rote, how are you, my friend?
Doing fine. It's a pleasure to be here in Bowling Green again.
Buddy, I tell you what, on Monday, if I went by the Holiday Inn and you weren't sitting there, I guess I'd head to Florida to find out if you were all right, because you're here every year. You make everything out here work. How in the world did you do that?
Well, it got a lot of good help, and it's not just me. We got a lot of people at the museum, and they do so much with so little, because all these events, the reunions, that's where they make the revenue that keeps the museum alive. It brings the history of drag racing, the sights and the sounds back to the people today.
Well, you guys do such a great job with this. I don't know that I'd want your cell phone because everybody comes and says, this doesn't work. Where's Rex? Where's Rex? Where's Rex? Because you know how to make it wire it. You know how to do what I was down here one day and you had the jukebox wide open. But, of course, you're a pretty good drummer, too,
I was the drummer for about 16 years in music business. I got 2 boys in music business. But I'll tell you a little story. I had to change to a new mobile phone here, a new cell phone recently, and they were downloading the numbers, and the guy said, it's taken quite a while. And he said, no wonder. He said, it's got 5,100 phone numbers in it.
Well, there's a lot of folks want to talk to you.
I guess. A lot of them would like for me to shut up occasionally.
No, I don't think so, buddy. I don't think so. A crowd pretty good? Or is it what you expected, or is it up or down, or what?
I think it's going to be. Up this year. It's going to be one of the better years. We had 1,004 show cars pre-registered this year, and in excess of 400 drag racers. And we've got a great field of cars and a great place like Bowling Green to have it at.
Well, and we got the rain out of the way, I think. I know that's been causing you to pull your hair out. I'm surprised you're not bald. You've been fighting that weather all week long, and even this morning a little shower came in, but it'll be okay.
That's one thing you can't do is bet against the weather. You'll lose.
Yeah, every time. Well, then tell me, is car count? I know you show cars up. Race cars up?
I think the race cars are up. We've got, I think on the grounds, there's supposed to be 10 top fuel cars. We had 5 qualified first round yesterday, and we've got some funny cars that showed up today. We've got a couple of jet cars. We've got a wheel stander, so it's going to be something for everybody. And then, they got the museum tent. They're selling T-shirts, and all that money goes back to help the museum run. They do this strictly from these events, from the revenue.
Yeah, well, the thing about it, guys, everybody loves drag racing that's in these grounds right now. I don't care who you are. You got to like it or you wouldn't be here. And the contributions you make buying the T-shirts, coming into these events, that kind of stuff, that just preserves its history and keeps it alive,
What fascinates me is, sometimes you think the work's not worth it, but when the gates open, people think when the gates open on Thursday that's all you do is open the gates. They don't realize, the safety safari, the track crews here 2 or 3 days preparing the track. People like Dallas Jones, provides a good, venue to have this event. And we do one in the California Hot Rod Union and now the New England reunion in Epping, New Hampshire.
Yeah, but I tell you what, nothing compares to Bowling Green. It's this facility is a one of a kind. I know when I did my old funny car stint, we went to all these other places, so we can sit there and firsthand say compare things. Let
me ask you something. Did you ever think drag racing would go to this extent when you were driving?
Oh no, man. We. Of course, I remember John Force when he didn't have enough money to buy bologna, and to look at the high-dollar sponsors, to look at the things that I spent on yesterday's show. Jerry Gwynn and I sat and talked for a long time because we were about the same time period back then. I mean, I knew when he ran the old Baby Huey funny cars and stuff like that, and we're old buddies. And we talked quite a while off the air about how much things have changed. And it's just unbelievable. And what's cool, they're not old geezers. They're young people at this event that are interested in it. They're interested in the old nostalgia cars. They never got to see them like you and I saw them.
Well, the thing about it is they don't realize if it wasn't for guys like you, all the guys that risked their lives through the years to bring drag racing to what it is today, it wouldn't be there if it wasn't for you guys.
Oh, yeah, it probably would, buddy. We were just out there having fun and too dumb to know any different, And
I'm sure if Wally Parks is, looking down today, he's smiling.
Well, he created, he may have thought he created a monster, but he actually created a really cool thing.
Well, what he did, he created a great family.
He did. And he came up with a thing where people care about each other. And in today's economy, that's a very important thing. I guarantee you there's not a drag racer here if one of the other guys needed something that he wouldn't bust his butt to see if he got it.
Well, it's like at the pro events, you'll see Chris Cameron, he's the Greek, and in his 80s still racing. And if he has a problem, you go by his pits. He's got a 1-ton dually with a small trailer parked, amongst $1 million rigs. And
of course, yeah.
You'll see crew shirts from 4 or 5 other teams pitching in to help him.
Well, and that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way. And I'm sure if you had a problem, which you don't because you know about all this stuff, but you could go to any one of these guys and say, hey, I need, and they'd be right there for you.
I go to one of these guys, they tell me to leave.
No, I doubt that. Unfortunately, we're going to have to tell you to leave and go on and do this deal. But my good buddy, Mr. Rex wrote, this place would not be the same without him. Guys, if you see him riding around on his golf cart or scooter or whatever he's on today, give a little thanks and yell and say, hey, bud, thanks, because he's the man that makes 99% of this stuff possible here at Beach Bend, and we really appreciate you, my friend.
Well, if you see Steve Gibbs, too, Steve and Rose Dickinson from the museum and the staff, they're the ones that makes it work. I just kind of help, help out.
But I'm telling you what, my friend, without a good captain, that boat ain't coming to port.
I've always been told the mark of a good boss man is he surrounds himself with good people and never gets his hands dirty.
There you go. Well, now you can go see Miss Susie Christofferson. She's got a new hand soap down there. We talked to her about that, sponsoring her funny car. And no matter how dirty your hands get, man, they come clean as a deal. So you might ought to check it out. See,
I will do. And
all right.
I just like to say thank you for what you do and the people of Bowling Green. I got here last Friday night, and you would be surprised how many people told me we're so glad the reunion is back. That makes you feel good.
Yeah, well, it's a fun deal. It's a great deal for the economy of this city. And Terry and I go all over the country with this little old radio thing. So we, there again, can compare that too. But you guys do a fabulous job. It's fun to be here. It's not fun to be working here, but it is fun to be here and see everything. But we appreciate you taking a few minutes and being on Event Radio.
Well, I appreciate you all, and thank you so much.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here and cruise around. We're going to let you listen to just a little bit of word from one of our sponsors, and we will be right back. Okay, guys, we are back from the Hot Rod Reunion, and we come to our favorite sponsors trailer, the good guys at Quick Fuel. And we can never say enough good stuff about them. And we run across our old buddy that works for them, Mr. Brian Gaines. Brian, my friend, how are you?
Doing just great, man. Glad to be out here. Just awesome to be here, even with the rain.
Yeah, well, that's all right. It's going to quit, you know. We're going to have fun.
Yep.
How cool is it to work for Quick Fuel? I mean, we know how good the company is, and we know how good the product is, but how cool is it to work there?
Honestly, it's just awesome. It's I've been around performance and racing and carburetors forever.
All right, let's back up. You worked at Holly a while.
Yep.
You worked at RC Components, motorcycle extraordinaire. I mean, you were the man on motorcycles. There's no question about it. And then you went through, what was it, Renegade Racing Fuel?
I did.
Where you were a rep for them, I think.
Sales, yeah.
Okay. And then you found your niche.
I did.
You found Quick Fuel.
Yep.
So we know how good a company it is. We know you guys test run every carburetor before they ever go in the box. The quality control is second to none.
That's correct.
That's got to make it pretty easy on you selling stuff.
It really does. It really does. It sells itself. I just answer questions.
Yeah, but it feels pretty good that you don't have. You know, a lot of guys that sell that stuff, they sort of, once they get the guy's money, they may regret saying hi to him again after he's played with what he's bought. You know, that happens a lot. And with Quick Fuel, I mean, you can take them home for dinner.
Yep. We when we sell a carburetor, we make a friend. It's real cool to hear somebody call back just to say how much they love something instead of having a problem.
Yeah, next time I come to town, I'm going to shoot you, right? They're not going to say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me an average day of you at Quick Fuel. What do you do?
Well, it sounds really easy, and I guess it is, or I take it that way. We talk about race cars and sell carburetors and help people go fast.
So you're on the phones most of the time, is that right? So if they call in, can they ask to talk to you?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Brian Gaines, there you go. So you can call in and guys, trust me, you can put a little faith in your old fat buddy here on Event Radio. He knows for sure what he's talking about.
About any of them Gaines boys know what they're talking
about.
Yeah,
I know.
Race cars.
There you go. Anything cool at Quick Fuel that we might not know about?
We have got a new fuel injection system that's out, and it's kind of right now it's based, it's playing for street cars for a little while, and then we're going to bring it to the race world, and that's probably hottest item on the board right now.
Yeah, a lot of those they get it to work on street cars, but they can't make it work on a race car. You guys have figured out how to do that.
We go at it backwards.
No, you don't because every bit of development that you find in late model cars comes from a racetrack somewhere.
That's correct.
The racers are the best engineers and technically let's make it work guys.
Yep.
On the planet.
Yep.
So you're exactly right to make it work in the race car. Then a street car's a piece of cake.
I'd have to agree with you. I back up on that backward statement.
Well, depends on which side of the fence you're looking at.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
There you go. Well, how about my buddy? And we constantly play with our buddy Tony as being the drag race mafia.
Man, it's cool to see him out here. He's in his element, isn't he?
Hey, I'm telling you, the only thing better if Mama La Puma would bring you a pizza. Have you had one of those?
I have not.
Oh, boy, you had to live. Of course, Tony is 100% Sicilian and out of Chicago.
Yeah.
And Mama La Puma makes the real Chicago pizza.
I have got
and
to
she
try
has.
it.
Hey, I'm telling you what, it'll make your tongue come out and smack your brains out. I mean, it is really good stuff. So that's your charge for the day. You got to get Tony to get her to make you a pizza.
Will do.
Brian, my friend, thank you for taking a few minutes. You got a line of people probably want to talk to you, and rightly so, because you can fix any ail they got. We appreciate you taking the time to be on Event Radio. As always, we appreciate everybody at Quick Fuel. Before we got all the listeners that we got now, you guys put faith in us and said, boys, we think you'll be able to do it now that we're sort of, I won't say we have, but we sure come a long way, baby.
Yeah.
And we got a bunch of folks that hopefully they hadn't turned us off yet.
That's right.
So,
that's right. You are definitely the man for the job.
Well, I don't know. We're having fun.
That's right.
Guys, pick up the phone. Call Quick Fuel.
Ask for Brian.
793-0900 is the number. And call and say, hey, I want to talk to the crazy man, and they'll automatically put you into Brian if Derek doesn't answer the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to be one of those two. And then if you need some real, you better be good, or they'll put the racing mafia on you.
Exactly.
Brian, thank you for being on Event Radio, my friend. We
Thanks,
really
Brian.
appreciate it. Guys, we're going to stab and steer, ride through here and see who else we can talk to. Nobody will like any more than who we just did. But hang in there with us. We're at Hot Rod Reunion, and we're having one heck of a time. All right, guys, when you drive through the pits at the Hot Rod Reunion, there is a special area that you go, and you run up on. I run up on an old friend that The minute they fire these cars, no matter where you are at the fence to watch them. We are in the fuel-altered pit area. My good friend, Mr. Ron Hope, the driver of the Rat Pack. How are you? Rat Trap. I'm sorry. I'm brain
That's
dead
okay.
today.
We answer to any name, actually.
Let me ask you something. When we talked to you last year here, and you had a car on the water going somewhere to race across the pond.
We did. At that time, we actually have the Rat Trap. We have 3 identical cars.
Okay.
And they're all insert, and we did that simply because we do have some commitments that are offshore. And we have one actually coming up in 2 weeks' time. We will be once again at Goodwood Festival of Speed.
I think that's where you were going last time.
It was. And this is our 4th time there. And our good friend, Lord Charles March, who very capably puts on that just very prestigious event, has invited us back.
Well, he must like you there, huh?
Well, I hope so.
Has he knighted you yet, or
no,
anything?
And chances are I won't be.
You don't think he's going to knight you with?
No, I think that's probably out of the question. But this year,
it did Elton John. You put on as good a show probably as he does.
You never know.
There you go.
This year, in addition to going to Goodwood, the car is actually remaining there because we have a match race with the Pure Hell car.
Okay, Rich.
At Santa Pod.
Uh-huh.
And that is coming up on the 12th and 13th of July, actually. And what is really interesting about that is my son Brian is driving that car.
Really? That's
Yes.
cool. So you all right, let me ask you something. Does Dad, you've done this so long that you could do this in your sleep. Does Dad coach him a lot?
I tell him this. When the light goes green, count to 3. English or Spanish, I don't care.
Okay.
And then go. But he doesn't do that. In fact, we have raced once so far.
Oh, okay.
And because I was actually more than asleep on the light,
okay.
he was able. So in England, I'm hoping to even the score and get a little ahead of it.
There you go. There you go. And then you talk smack for a long, long time after that.
For a long time.
Yeah,
but that's okay. At the end of the day, we all have to be able to go to Thanksgiving dinner together.
That's right. That's right.
So,
now, don't you have a daughter that does a Bonneville car?
Actually, that is Brian's daughter. That's my granddaughter.
Granddaughter, okay.
She is the oldest of 18 grandbabies.
See, I was trying to make you younger than you really were.
Well,
Ron.
I know. I hate to tell you this. I hate to even mention this, but I will.
Okay, that's all right.
On Monday,
Uh-huh.
next Monday,
Yeah.
I will reach another landmark in terms of age.
Oh, you're going to be 50?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
Plus,
all right.
plus a few.
Plus a few, all right.
Yeah. But you know what? When you have the helmet on and the fire suit and you're all strapped in that car, it doesn't matter
Hey,
if you're 70
18,
or 18.
You're 18 forever, buddy. 18 forever.
Perpetually.
Let me ask you something, and you may not even be able to remember this back this long. What was your very first ride like in a fuel altered?
Well,
anything memorable there?
The only thing
has to be.
Yeah, the only thing I can say is I think amazed at. One is you realize how short those cars are when you're standing outside looking at them, but when you're actually in the car at the hit of the throttle, it becomes very clear as to how short that car is.
In other words, it tells you who the real boss is.
Yes,
is that
it does. Indeed, it does. But I think they are still the most exciting cars in drag racing, and we just love. We have 19 events this year that we will appear at, and I'll tell you the fans that come to us. That's really what makes it worthwhile, and we get such great comments from the fans who talk about how they enjoy the cars, how animated they are, the excitement of every run.
Well, you sure don't get bored, guys, watching a fuel altered. If you, I tell you what, it is probably. We've been around this stuff a long, long time, and whatever we're doing, we actually quit what we're doing to watch a fuel altered race.
Well, thank you. That's very kind. They they make us start in separate lanes.
Yeah,
But-
no. It doesn't end up that way, though, does
Beyond that, it's pretty much open territory.
it? Let me ask you, have you ever had a ride that actually scares you?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, I know
about-
you respect all of them.
Yeah.
I know that.
I think probably, to be fair, the closest to being really feeling that it was going to be really, really ugly came actually just about 2.5 months ago in Tucson.
Really?
I was racing Ron Maroney on a Saturday night, and both cars wound up first in the lane that I started in. He came across, and then as we both kind of struggled to get right, where we should be, I wound up in his lane, and I at one point recall seeing my left front tire inside of his right front tire.
That would have
And,
not been pretty.
I thought that this is going to be really,
this
really
is going to be
ugly.
exciting.
But
yeah.
how, I don't pretend to know, but they unwound themselves, and while I did scrape the wall, not hit the wall, but scrape the wall.
Well, that's okay. That's all right.
That's, as Bob Fry says in fuel-altered racing, that's considered close to the wall.
Yeah, okay. I can understand
Yeah,
that.
but anyway, that probably becomes the closest. Anyone that tells you that they don't respect these cars that drives them is probably lying to you.
You want to
because
stay away from them. There's no doubt.
You have to have a degree of respect for a car that has that horsepower and the capability that it does, and it's obviously short wheelbase makes it challenging.
Well, I tell you, my friend, you make a lot of people at these events really happy. You put a memory in their brain that they never forget because you put on quite a show. You are the headliner, my friend, and whether you want to admit it or not, you are. And we appreciate you for the second time of taking time to be on Event Radio.
Well, I can't tell you how honored I am to have this opportunity and how much I appreciate everyone that comes out to see us and the NHRA for having this tremendous event here.
Well, guys, we're gonna get out of here and let Ron go. He's probably got 1 million people that want autographs and all that stuff, but we commandeered him away, and he is always so gracious to be nice to us at Event Radio. We're going to run around and see what we can get into, and we will be right back.
Thank you.
All right, guys, you come to the Hot Rod Reunion, and it's exactly as the name says. It is a reunion. Standing here talking to a fella and a guy that boy, I've known longer than I've known my shower, Mr. Bob Richardson. Buddy, how in the world are you?
I'm great, Spivey. It's good to see you and good to talk to you, and had a lot of good times at your restaurant.
Oh, I'm telling you what, I eat too doggone much there. That's the reason I got this overhang. Buddy, you can make a top fuel car walk the dog, and you've been doing that for so long.
Yeah, we ran blown alcohol cars all those years. And you had your funny car and everything. You used to come down here, and your family treated us like gold. And
well, it's never been hard to be nice to nice people, buddy.
Well, I appreciate that. We've had a lot of fun, and the reunions are special. I had no intention of coming here this weekend, and
these guys will put you to work. They know your capabilities, buddy, and you can't walk through here without somebody grabbing you and say, "Hey, come over here."
Yeah, I was actually down your way last weekend and went home, and I was in Paducah, and we were racing at Paducah, and Paul Romine came back out with a Man of War car, and
boy, he's my buddy now. Romine that guy has too much fun.
He does, and his retirements are always short.
Yeah, well, that and thank goodness that they are, because Paul has always been master showman. He knows how to get it done, and he's a sort of a rare guy. He's a showman, but yet he's serious as a heart attack when it comes to the racing, and he shows them there too, you know?
Yeah, he told me when he came out with a nostalgia car a couple of years ago or 3 years ago with a funny car that his crew guys had decided that the only way they would do it is if they didn't have a big show awning, so he put a power awning on his trailer.
Okay.
So they didn't have to set that up. and they carried more beer than they did oil. So
I've always kidded him. You know, I said, buddy, they got your name all over the grocery stores. And he said, what do you mean? I said, that romaine lettuce. You know, he said, that's romaine lettuce, you idiot.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. So, but I got a call from Jimmy Young with his Top Fuel car here. He's driving Steve and Ernie McLean's car, and got a call on Wednesday morning, and I just got home from Paducah and got permission from my wife because this wasn't one of my scheduled races.
Yeah.
So, and she happened not to be able to come this weekend, so I jumped in my motorhome and came down here late Wednesday night, and they put me to work yesterday.
Hey, buddy, the guru is always in demand. There's no doubt about it. The guru, they want you.
It's been fun, and I always hate to miss a reunion, and I've been here the last quite a few years, and again, the teams that I normally work for haven't been coming here, and last year they called me, and I worked on the Jungle Gym and Brand X car, so been here for quite a few years in a row.
Hey, bud, when you got to wear a lot of hats when you're as talented a guy as you are, you know. Get over it. You can't help it if you're popular.
Well,
listen,
it's fun. I've enjoyed it.
It's I can't tell you how much cool it's been to run into you and see you. It brings back. It's sort of like deja vu. It brings back a lot of old memories to me, and they're all good. You know,
that's right.
And man, we had so much fun back in those days, and now I get to do this little old radio thing and see all my old friends and get to talk to them and actually get to introduce you to people that may never get to meet you, you know. And they were so cool for me when I was doing this. I thought the world ought to know you. And
well, thanks, Stevie. I've enjoyed it, and I've known you for a number of years. Haven't seen you for a number of years, but
I'm just getting wider, bud. I'm gonna get one of those wide load signs that go you see running down the interstate on the back of those trucks.
I think you're just shortening up.
Well, if I could get a battery in each pocket with one of those yellow lights on each shoulder, you know,
that's right.
then I can go wherever I want it.
That's right.
Guys,
right.
we appreciate Mr. Bob Richardson. Thank you for joining us on Event Radio, buddy. It is always a treat, always my pleasure to get to see you. And now we've introduced you to a bunch more friends.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it and enjoy your show. Thank you.
Well, we're going to be right back, guys. We're going to say a little word from one of our sponsors, and we will join you again real quick. All right, guys, we're riding down the pits, and we're in Bowling Green, Kentucky, home of the Corvette. And as much as we like funny cars, it would be un-American not to talk to this gentleman. Got a Corvette funny car sitting here with Excalibur painted down the side. Absolutely gorgeous hot rod. What is your name, sir?
George Ridenauer.
George, you are the jockey of this deal. Is that correct?
That's me.
Crazy man.
Nothing like it.
We know. We used to do that. We're actually not radio people. We are two old ex-racers that got involved in the radio thing. I ran an alcohol funny car back in the 70s. Terry is an ex-professional speedway motorcycle racer. So we started Event Radio to get to talk to you guys and maybe make it available for sponsorship opportunities for you, because they all want to talk to Forrest, they all want to talk to Ron Capps, they all want to talk to those guys, but the media sometimes you get neglected, you know, and that's rotten because you guys put on a heck of a show.
Well, thank you. That's what we try to do.
Let me ask you something. I want you to dispel a myth for me. There's a big myth out there that a Corvette-bodied funny car will not handle. Is that true, or is that stuff?
I beg to differ a lot. I think this car handles like no other car I've driven.
Just Cadillacs down
a Mustang
through there, right?
too. Yeah, this thing, honestly, you don't even have to steer this. I mean, the downforce on this body is.
Well, you know, way back when they got a bad rap, I think, and they got a bad rap because the guys that were using them were about half nuts to start with. You know, I mean, you had the Moby Dick boys, you had a bunch of those guys. They would crash a mini bike.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then everybody said, well, the Corvettes won't handle it. You know, they're dangerous. So everybody starts peeling them off, which I think is dumb because it makes a gorgeous funny car.
Well, thank you. And like I said, this car handles like a dream.
Let me ask you something. How long you been sitting in the seat in one of those?
In this one, 5 years.
5 years.
Yep.
So it ain't your first rodeo.
No.
Do you do more match race stuff, or what do you do?
Yes, we do a lot of exhibition runs, booked-in events.
Smart guy. That makes money. Yeah.
But my crew and I, we live for that. I mean, I would want to say that we'd run for nothing. That's not the case. But
no,
I
can appreciate
love doing this.
I can appreciate everything you're saying because I've been there, buddy. I've sat in your seat. I know what that's like. And when Terry and I started this show, it's sort of cool. A lot of media people will set you down, and the first thing they say, well, what kind of motor's in that car?
Yeah, right.
You know, and they'd be talking to a jet car guy or something,
Yeah, right.
you know. And is that a 350 Chevrolet or something? and so it's cool to get to sit and talk to you guys and maybe we can expose you to the world that when you go to ask them about some sponsorship, they know you can talk the talk, you know?
And we appreciate it. Like I said, we came down here for the sole purpose to show off our hot rod.
Well, I watched you make a pass yesterday, buddy. You did the show off. You did the stuff that's important. Burnout. You fogged up the whole end of the racetrack, and that's what you're supposed to do. You know, and the crowd. You had the crowd on their feet.
That's what we.
That's what you're supposed to do. So guys, if you're a track owner out there somewhere and you want to put together an alcohol show, these are. Is it an alcohol car or a nitro car?
We're an alcohol car.
Okay, I thought so. But the beauty part about booking the alcohol cars, guys, is they will be around for the third pass.
That's right.
The nitro boys, they'll come in and they'll do the flare and they'll be doo-ah and all that kind of stuff, and they'll make one run and it'll burp and pop and sputter and that stuff, and you guys will put on the deal.
And you know, I have a crew that's second to none. You know, these things are a lot easier than a fuel car, but don't get me wrong. These
are
still
technical.
you know, you still got to do your homework and maintenance on them. My crew can do it.
Well, buddy, like I've said many times, it takes a pretty good captain to get a boat to port. So that's your job, and all of their work is in vain if you don't do your part.
Yep.
And so the buck actually stops with you, you know, and that's a cool deal. Where are you from, man?
We are from Reading, Pennsylvania. Our
home
track is Maple Grove. Yes.
Yeah, that's a long drive.
But like I said, we wanted to come here. We wanted to put a show on and show off our hot rod.
Well, you're doing it, my friend, and you're doing a great job. And you make the old funny car guys proud because you know how to do it.
Thank you.
And it's cool. And hell, we're partial. I can't help it.
Well, I would say we're scheduled to make another run around 4 o'clock, and hopefully, if Bang Shift is running, everybody can watch us on there.
That's right, guys. And one thing for sure, you can get on our show. This I didn't tell you, but this little show goes all over the world.
Awesome.
Awesome. We actually have a listening audience about 3 million. So you know, we're putting you in front of 2 or 3 people. And the thing about it, I'll give you a card and stuff. If you all our shows after they air go on an archive page, so you can call them up on demand anytime you want, which makes it really handy if you go courting a sponsor.
Yep.
And you say, well, the media searched me out, and they say, well, why is that? Say, I don't know, but here you can listen to it, and all you got to do is punch a button. You can play this interview for them, and you know, I mean, it's cool when you got a guy that, number one's got a good looking car. Number 2, he's got experience, longevity, because a lot of funny car guys don't last real long.
Right.
But this gentleman has longevity, and if you sit and watch it, they put it on one heck of a show.
Thank you.
So, and there is a little fender room for probably a little ad or 2 here, with a big check to go with it. Got to be a big check.
We can make room.
There you go. My friend, thank you for being on Event Radio. We really appreciate it.
And thank you for having us.
Hey, it's been our pleasure. We love funny cars more than you know.
Thanks.
All right, guys. We're going to stab and steer, guys. Get around here and ride around. It's not raining anymore, and we're having fun, and we will be right back. All right, guys, we're back at the Hot Rod Reunion, and we're riding through the pit area, and we find the man that is the quietest guy in the place. Tell everybody who you are.
This is Les Noise from Dynamat.
There you go. You got to do it good and quiet. See, because what you do, guys, the Dynamat products, when you put them in your hot rod, that lets you actually hear the radio.
And whoever's next to you, if you want to hear them, unless you left the noise at home.
Yeah, okay. Well, see, does anybody ever say that they left you at home?
No, I get out a lot.
I figured you probably would.
I'm not home much.
I figured you probably would. How long has the Dynamat stuff been around?
It's our 25th year.
Is it really?
Yeah. We, really came out of me building cars and not wanting the car to feel old and hot and noisy.
I understand.
And because, we all hot rodders built cars for years, enjoyed the cars for years, and it was kind of like nobody ever talked about how miserable they were.
Yeah.
Because they are miserable.
Well, see, I guess with me being an old guy, I can appreciate what you have more than most because I grew up in the era when none of that was available. And yeah, you look cool going down the road, but hell, it was pure agony,
Yeah, nobody would admit it, really. It's like, well, you didn't think you could do anything about it.
Right.
So, I decided to do something about it.
Well, I tell you what, there's a lot of people around here that number one, their hearing they can probably thank you for. And the fact of, like you say, being able to talk to the person that's in there with you.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. The vibration and noise, it's actually the number one cause of fatigue on the highway
Is it really?
Is high level of noise. That's why it's being addressed so much by trucking industry right now. And, so you can go without sleep a bit, but adds to it greatly is the irritation of the high level of noise and vibration.
Yeah, does it get into almost like a methodical rhythm? If you hear that crap,
Yeah, it just wears on you.
Yeah, hypnosis. Hypnosis by the numbers. It knocks you out, right?
Yeah,
Is that it?
Yeah. But wow, isn't there a bunch of beautiful cars here?
Oh, buddy, I'm telling you, are you having fun?
Oh yeah, I'm out looking for a pick for the event here.
Okay.
And,
right. Well, you ought to know. You look at a lot of them.
Yeah, it's I'm getting harder and harder to please.
Well, no, you appreciate quality, and when you come to an event like this, guys, there's a lot of quality here, and a lot of car shows are pretty easy to pick.
Yeah, it's we might hear something. He's not going to get less noise pick.
He's not going to get the less noise award.
The quality of workmanship. I mean, when we were growing up, you had a dent, you put Bondo in it. And these days, there's so many metal guys out there doing really nice metal work.
Right.
There's never been as many quality metal people out here amongst the population, whether it's cars or anything else, as there are today.
Well, Terry and I have both. We've always been a fan of your coupe. Because even though it's a brand new piece and it's got the old look, that's just too cool. I mean, that's cool as pockets on a shirt,
Yeah, well, the whole idea with most of the cars that I do, it's like, I don't try to do something that nobody's done, but I try to take what everybody is trying to do and kind of put a finish to it. The Dynaliner Coupe is really, to me, I was looking at all the rat rods that started happening, and it was like, well, we had done the Thunder Road truck that we got here actually, and that was like the first finished rat rod was what we decided that was. The coupe was like, let's take something that looks old, let's take something that brings everybody out a little bit nostalgically. And not everybody can find a barn find,
Yeah, sure.
So we made our own barn find.
Sure,
but it runs. We've been across country, and like every car I got, I've been across country in about every one of them.
Well,
twice.
It's a hit at any event because everybody goes and they know you, because of all the caricatures. They see you and they say, "Oh, that's that guy,"
Yeah. And that's it's fun. We try to make it fun. It's selling products should be fun. I don't have to work real hard to convince anybody anymore that we have the right product for the right reasons, and our quality is always going to be there. We've got a reputation.
Well,
but we might as well have fun while we're doing it. And,
well, sure.
And get out and talk to people. And
you're a car guy, buddy. Car guys have fun.
Yeah.
And you got to be one to appreciate them. I tell you what,
disagree with that.
we've had this gentleman make more noise right now than he's ever been used to. So I guess we'll have to cut him loose and let him go. But the one and only, guys, Mr. Less Noise, you got to meet him and hear him on Event Radio at the Hot Rod Reunion. And if you need to quieten down the old beater just a little, you might look into the Dynamat stuff because that'll get her done.
Yep. Dynamat first, Dynaliner second.
There you go.
Get down the road third.
All right, there you go. The one and only, guys, Mr. Less Noise. Thank you for being on Event Radio. Guys, we're going to stab and steer, keep on going. No telling what we'll get into, but we will be right back. All right, guys, we are back. We're cruising through the infield. We come up probably on the coolest, I don't know whether to call it a jet funny car or not, but man, this thing is it a 40 or 39 or what is it?
It's a 1941 Willys.
Well, I was close. I got within a couple of years.
Everybody thinks it's a funny car, but this is actually more like a pro mod. It has actual working doors on both sides.
Does it really? Well, to start with, guys, it is a jet. It's not an air aspirated car, I guess you'd say.
Right, not naturally aspirated.
Tell everybody who you are first.
Yeah, my name is Terry Rosberg. My dad was Dick
Rosberg, and I knew him well.
Irish. Yep.
I knew him well.
Yep, so I'm kind of, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, so to speak.
So you fell in there. You ought to be good at this, buddy, because your dad was probably one of the best that ever was at this.
Well, he was pretty good, and I consider myself to be not so bad. But it's kind of funny, all the times that I've raced him dragster against dragster, I could never beat him 3 in a row, but I might get him twice, but he'll get me on that last one every time.
Well, old age and treachery, or what's that saying? I don't know. It's one of those funny deals, whatever it is. Your dad all right? Or?
Well, he did pass away 3 years ago.
I didn't know that.
He is in the Hall of Fame. One of the dragsters that he drove for Mike Cool, it's in the museum there in Pomona. Mm-hmm. But like I said, the legacy lives on.
I keep forgetting how old I am, you know what I mean? And mentally, even my body keeps writing, or my mind keeps writing checks my body can't cash.
I understand that.
And I remember I ran a funny car back in the 70s. So I got to meet your dad because we got a lot of booked-in shows, and, of course, that's what they did.
Yep,
and
exactly.
He did this deal. Let me ask you something. How long have you had this car?
This car is really, it's a little bit older. It's probably about 8 to 10 years old, but it was used as a show car. It never had an engine in it until my partner Joe Zaccaro, he decided to put an engine in this thing, and we were the first ones to get it running, and we just wanted something unique that the crowd, everybody sees how jet cars run, but no one's ever seen anything like this. This is a totally different animal.
Well, I think this is cool. This is really neat, and it. You set off to the side, I'm sure.
Yep, you do sit off to the side.
You can't straddle that thing,
No, it gets a little hot when you straddle it.
I bet it does. And it probably gets a lot harder in there being closed in like that, too, doesn't it?
Well, I'm used to the dragster, but this is a lot more fun. You actually have to really drive this car. And inside the car, it gets about 140 to 150 degrees.
Well, that's not near as hot as it is on the tailpipe.
That's a little bit more hotter back there.
Yeah, a little bit more warm. Yeah, we actually... with this little radio show, we get to talk to a lot of the jet guys. Elaine Larson is a good buddy.
Yeah.
And
well, matter of fact, I talked to them earlier, and this car, the way it's painted, she had painted it this way.
That's what I thought, and that's why I kept asking.
Yeah.
Because I thought I had seen this.
They never built it. They got it from some guys in Texas, and they got it, used it as a show car for a sunglass company.
Okay.
And then it went to a guy I used to drive for, Bob Van Scarver, that owned Atco Raceway. He got it, never got it to run, and then we got it from Joe.
Now, doesn't Tony Franco have a car like this, sort of?
No.
I thought he had some kind of coupe, or he just got or something.
No, we're friends with Tony. We were just doing a race with Tony out in Denver.
Yeah, matter of fact, Tony was here, and we got to meet him and all that, and he introduced me to Jicama, which, he's a health freak eating that health food, and it took me a month to figure out what jicama was.
I don't think I want to know what jicama is.
Well, actually, it's a fruit. Believe it or not, it's. I think we figured out it was an apple with an attitude.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know.
It probably sounds better than it tastes.
Yeah, well, now through the whole interview, he's cutting this stuff up, and we had him and the guys from AFTV on here and all the whole deal.
Yeah, matter of fact, when we were in Denver, we had a big dinner, and his wife and stuff makes all kinds of stuff. Oh, yeah, we had a good time.
He's a good guy. Good
Yep.
people. You know, we have found all the jet car people are pretty doggone nice people, and I wish I could say that about every class, but I can't.
Well, you know, it's not considered a competition class, so it's not so much pressure involved. And we don't want to do this if we're not going to have fun. We don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And that's why we're out here. We enjoy ourselves, and that's kind of what Joe and we always laugh. That's what keeps us young.
Well, that's good. That's good. I tell you what, it is an honor and a pleasure to have you on Event Radio. You got some big shoes to fill, my friend.
Yes, sir. I
and
understand that.
And I'm one of the few that knew your dad well and how good he really was at what he did.
Oh, yeah.
So they're expecting a lot of you, buddy, while it's parked in the pits.
Yeah, and, you know, it's kind of funny. When I was born, he was actually at the drag races. And but now that I'm doing this, it's, you know, he's with me all the time. Especially like today, you know, I always got a little bit with him. He always rides with me.
Well, he was a fine man, fine fella.
Thank you.
And like I say, I'm sorry that I hadn't kept up with things enough to know that he was no longer with us. But
well, we always stay busy. That's good, though.
Yeah, that's part of it. Listen, thank you so much for joining us on Event Radio. We appreciate it, guys.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, even if you don't have any jicama. Okay.
Well, now you're going to make me go to the store when I go back home and go buy
well,
something.
You tell Tony that his favorite jicama people had you on the radio. He'll know all about it, and he will remember. I promise you.
I will talk to him shortly.
Okay. All right, guys, we're going to stab and steer, go through here and see what we can get into. There's no telling, but we're going to try real hard. We will be right back. Well, T, I tell you what, have we had some heavy hitters today or what?
Great guests, very good guests.
Oh, I'm telling you what.
Of course, the original, Mr. Dale Funk.
When you get Dale settled down, you know, there is probably not a guy in this place that has, number one, done any more than he has, but that has had as many stories made up, whether he did them or not.
And not in the penitentiary.
Yeah, you're right. But whether he actually did those things or not, Funk is a legend. He's a legend in the whole sport of drag racing. And man, what a cool
Great guy.
Oh, yeah. Fun, Mr. Fun. Then, of course, Rex, the guy that keeps everything working here, one of the members of the NHRA crew.
The Grand Poopah.
Yeah, the Grand Poopah that keeps everything going. Then our buddy in the Corvette, the Corvette funny car, you know, dispelled the old, I guess you would say, myth that the funny cars did not handle. He said his just Cadillac. Said it's just like driving itself, you know. And the jet car guys, man, you know, how about that? We run up on the jet car guys. It turns out that one of them's brother we have had on here, the fellow that owns the car, then the jockey of the car, his dad was a legend jet car driver, and we just fall into it and luck up and get them.
I'm telling you what, I wouldn't get out of the electric chair to get in that jet car.
That's the only thing out of all these shows that you haven't said, I want to ride it.
I don't want to ride in that.
That'd be like riding a Roman candle. No, it might be fun, though. You know, it's like riding a jet at the airport taking off. It just never stops.
Yeah, and I'd have to get a sponsor from Depends, probably.
Probably so. Well, you've done worse, I'm sure. Guys, we hope you have enjoyed day number 2 of the Hot Rod Reunion. We have tried our heart out to bring it to you and make it entertaining. We hope we have. And we hope you like the fact of us getting them on the air for you a little bit quicker so that you can hear them and understand what's going on out here. And it might make you want to come another day and be out here with all the happenings.
Especially if nobody's never been here, they can't realize that all the old school hot rods, street rods, it's like stepping back in time with a new twist to it, I guess I'm trying to say.
Exactly. This is a fun deal, a fun place.
Family deal.
Yep. Well, we're going to go get ready to go to the Brewster's deal, the juvenile diabetes
capital of the world.
Yeah, the ice cream capital of our world, anyway. But the juvenile diabetes show we're going to go to and do tonight. We'll let you know tomorrow exactly how that went down and how much fun people had and that kind of stuff. So we want to thank you for joining us on Event Radio. As always, we cannot thank our sponsors enough if we did it every minute of every show. We want to thank them. Beach Bend Raceway, Beach Bend Park and Splash Lagoon.
Quick fuel and final finish.
Quick fuel, final finish, and of course, the Gearhead Gazette. And by keeping up with the Gearhead Gazette, guys, you can go to any of these events because you know well in advance when they're going to be, where they're going to be, and everything about them. So just GearheadGazette.com, and you can find us just about everywhere.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
We appreciate you joining us, guys. We will see you again.
You've been listening to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you heard about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Join us next time with your hosts, Spivey Williams and Terrible T Guy.